here. It's here. It's Springer. I've been waiting for this one. Like, Blitzwing is cool too. Like, as you may have already watched that video, I'm not sure. But Springer is the one I have been waiting for since they announced it. He's awesome. He's based off of the Nick Roche version from Last Stand of the Wreckers. And Nick, if you're watching this, I hope I pronounced your last name right. If I didn't, slap me whenever you see me. So yeah, but he's really, really cool. He's kind of a... here's his gun. It rotates. It's removable. Oddly enough, no springs at all in Springer. His gun doesn't even have a spring mechanism. It's just it's one of those flick fire type of missile launchers that you just push forward like that. And what's interesting is, I don't know if you noticed that as it fired forward, but you slide up before one missile, two missiles. So like they don't fire together. So you can actually just fire one missile at a time, which is cool. The top one goes first, and then depending on the top from this angle. But I wasn't the first missile is hard to fire because I don't want to slam through both of them, so I don't push as hard on the first one. Oh well, maybe it may just be the way that I'm holding it. But oh no, I guess that one doesn't want to fire as well. Oh well, we'll work on that. But there's his little gun. It does have a pivoting handle, so again, if you got it plugged in up here, you can pivot it up and down and around. And also, if you want, you can kind of lift it up, and you can flip this up to form a seat. I don't know who'd sit there, but you can have him be like an armored car, or like a weapon emplacement there on the back of him. He has a vaguely Tumbler-esque look to him. A little bit of gaps here in the front, but that's okay. But a really, really cool looking armored car. I really like him. All of his designs are really, really cool. So yeah, there's that. Rolls very well. Sword stores underneath. Like I said, the gun can store on top. If you want him to just have his sword and not a gun, he's completely self-contained. If you don't want the gun on top of him, in all modes. Yeah. So there's that. Let's go to helicopter mode, shall we? So yeah, these come around. He's got the spoiler. I'm really, really happy with him. I'm sorry if I'm gushing a little bit, but I really, really just love him. So yeah, we come up here, and to get to helicopter mode, you want to pull this up here. Come here. This panel off the side, you pull it out and rotate it around to cover the wheel. On this side as well. Come here. There you go, pull it out and rotate it around like that. Then you come back here, pull these pieces, you kind of unpeg them here. The wheels, flip these around like this, pull the wheels all the way back and peg them together. Just like that. Bring these out here, and those are going to form, you can see those are going to form the stabilizers there on the back of the helicopter. And you take this like this, and you pull this whole assembly back. You're going to take this down, flip this windscreen down, and you want to fold this around, and when you fold this part in, you want to make sure there's a joint up here as well, and you want to make sure you're folding it at this. There's a joint here and a joint here. You want to fold it at that back joint, because that's what's going to get this slot up to this tab. You just want to bend it like Bertram there. Haha, see what I did there? Hey, Josh. Then bring this back like that. Same thing on the other side. Fold that down and around. Fold it at back joint. Tab it together. And then pull this whole assembly back like that. And then you take the this whole green assembly here, the kind of got to unpeg it from here. This whole section, you can see the hinge right under there, lifts up forward and pegs right into here to bring the cockpit of the helicopter back. And once you've done that, you kind of angle this up. You angle this up here. You can see there's a couple of grooves here that go into the grooves here on the back of the leg. So you angle this up a little bit to bring the helicopter tail up and peg that together. You lift these up. And these, I don't know if you noticed the sword, it was pegged in under here, and then there's a couple little tabs in here that when you peg it under here, you peg it into those tabs to hold it in place underneath the car. So that comes out. These can fold down as landing gear if you wish. They can fold up if you don't want to use them as landing gear. Entirely up to you. Bring it back like that a little bit. And there's the basic helicopter shape. And then the sword, this is what's cool about the sword. here's the sword. Here's the bit for the thing. You see, there's little tabs on the handle, and that's so the handle locks. Like so it can still spin as in helicopter mode. It spins right here, but then the tab, this little green piece goes over this tab to lock it as a sword. Everything locks together very stably as a sword. There's no spinny helicopter bits, and yet when you split it up here like this, or like that, and then pull it like this, and there's two little tabs here. You flip this up, and it locks the helicopter blades into place. They're very solid, and then it spins right here. See, now that you've unpegged this, it spins freely. Really ingenious design on that. And then you just peg it into the top of the helicopter. And then you adjust these to the right angle back here, so this can spin freely. Otherwise, the suspension in the back, or the stabilizers in the back, can support it. And with the wheels down, it looks like that. You can also, there is a wheel in the front up here that can flip out if you just want to have that as the helicopter mode. The instructions show this down to attach this under here, and it won't fit. You need to fold the landing gear up under here. And then there's a couple little tabs on this little slot right here. Right there, that you can snap up into right behind the landing gear up here to attach this gun to the front of the helicopter. So you make it kind of a gunship type look. And pick that in. But really, really neat. And a really nice looking helicopter. Very, very impressed with that. Now on to robot mode. You just pull the sword out here. And again, like I said, you flip this down. And as you flip this down, you want to make sure this is, you can see the little tab under there. On the bottom of the, right there on the bottom of the thing. You want to make sure that one of these lines up with it. One of these little geared notches. And that's going to lock the sword and keep it from spinning. Just like that. Then you just flip it back up. Put the teeth together and the peg together. And make the sword. Detach the gun from under here. Alright, so you unpeg these, bring them down. You want to lift the this glass panel up again because you're going to lift that up, and as you fold this all the way up like this, the fist comes out from inside here, just like that, and then you fold that panel back up to form the inner arm. Again, same over here. Do it this way. Lift this up, bring this whole panel down up here like this, flip this panel up at the first hinge, then the second hinge, flip the fist out, close that back up. Now you want to make sure you get the landing gear out for this, because you kind of have to pass his head. You flip his head up from under here, up into this, and then you can see the crest of his head is going to fold right up through there in the underside of this. So you got to bring his head up and then flip this whole assembly down, and you can see you got to have it lined up just right to get the clearance right for all of that to pass together. And then the wheel just kind of goes into the chest there. Flip his head up like that. And then these panels right here, you just lift up, tab, peg hole, slot, plug those in there like that. Untab them from right here. That's going to give you your shoulder movement. Flip up the landing gear to form kind of his little, have him angle out a little bit to form kind of his knee stuff. You can flip this panel up onto his back. Split his legs. There's just a little hinge right up here on his upper thigh. It doesn't move a lot, but just enough to give him that angle for helicopter mode to peg his legs together. Flip the feet up, and then flip this little green panel out to form the heel. And same over here, the little kind of X-gas tank. Just like that. Bring them out like this. Now you can flip these up onto the back of his legs and have them hang up out there. What I like to do with these little spoiler pieces is flip them down around like this and angle them back like that, so they kind of form more of a heel for his foot. They just make him a little bit more sturdy backwards. Entirely up to you. Be careful because these aren't pegged in; they just kind of snap into place. But that's how I like to do those. You can flip them up onto the back of his legs if you wish. But that's how I like to do it. And there is Springer mostly in robot mode. He can hold his gun and his sword in either hand. Very cool. And then here is the bit that I think is awesome, and a nice tribute to Last Stand of the Wreckers. Because Nick drew him with like some of these kind of shoulder flares, like some, pauldrons that came up. So this joint, not used for any transformation, so it's clearly just to make him look like in Last Stand of the Wreckers. You can leave him down like this, and I think this looks fine. I think he looks very cool like this. You want that Last Stand of the Wreckers look, you can just grab this panel, slide it up right through here, and angle it out a little bit, and give him that that shoulder bits from Last Stand of the Wreckers. Totally didn't have to do that. They didn't need to include that at all, and they did. I mean, like, he's already very much the IDW Wreckers design on Springer, based on Nick's art, and that's awesome. But just that extra mile, like I said, they could have left these down like this, and he would have looked still been a very awesome Springer. But the fact that they added in that little sliding mechanism just so you could do this with him is really, really very cool. So yeah, definitely my favorite of the two new Voyagers. But this is one of my favorite official Transformers in a good long while. I like Springer anyway, and they really just nailed it here. If you can only get one of this wave, he is the way to go. Blitzwing, as you saw in that review, really not as bad as, once you figure out how to lock the shoulders and everything, actually a pretty solid figure by himself. A few, like, more issues than Springer, but also not bad. Both of these guys are totally worth a purchase at retail. I totally recommend it. But Springer, like I said, if you can only get one, and you're on the fence about which one, get Springer without a doubt. And then just some quick size comparisons. There he is with Defender. And just we saw him with Blitzwing, and just since we have him here he is with like animated Blitzwing and the was it Hunt for the Decepticons lug nut? But yeah, there he is. Generations Voyager Triple Changer Springer, very cool. Looking forward to the Sandstorm repaint. But yeah, there he is.